A very good afternoon to one and all present here. Let's take up again with our next technical session, which is the last technical session of today. I am Dr. Rajasangranthi, and it gives me immense pleasure to extend to you a very warm welcome on behalf of Department of Tourism and Hospitality Management, Mizoram University, to a one-week online faculty development program. This morning, we had a thoughtful, provoking sessions with an eminent speakers, and the next distinguished to honor us with his presence is Professor Jitendra Mohan Mishra. Professor Jitendra Mohan Mishra is a professor of tourism at the Department of Tourism Management in the National Tribal University, Amarkantak, Madhya Pradesh. The former head of the Department of Tourism Management of Tourism Administration from APS University, Rewa. He has done MPhil on the topic Tourism Planning in the Garhwal Himalaya, a case study of Chamoli district of Uttaranchal state from HNB Garhwal University, Uttarakhand. Professor Mishra has been engaged in teaching, research, and research supervision since the last 16 years. His interest and expertise straddles many issues areas in tourism and culture, tourism in protected areas, and global tourism geography. His interest in adventure activities gets reflected in his achievement in Garhwal Himalaya, where he trekked for 45 days, extending more than 450 kilometers. He had been invited to European University for teaching and research during October 2018 and as a visiting fellow to IIM Seymour in 2021. He has also visited several countries like Latvia, Sweden, Estonia, Rome and Vatican City, France, and Germany. During his academic tenure, he organized more than 24 workshops and board of studies, research degree committee of different state and central universities across the country. In this session, our respected speaker will be enlightening us on a very interesting topic, Dying Festival of Rural India. Sir, it is indeed a special privilege and a pleasure to have you in our sessions. Now, without further ado, we will turn the time over to our honorable speaker. It will be my honor to invite Professor Mishra for his intellectual words. Sir, over to you.
Okay, thank you so much. It is indeed a pleasure to connect to all of you here at Mizoram University and participants from all across. It is heartening that a tourism department at Mizoram University is flourishing day by day. And I can see some of my very close known faces, and good that the department has organized a very timely workshop on a very valid theme, and department is doing all good in this part of the country, and would probably in very short span of time would create a niche for itself, and the name and fame of the department would spread across. The topic that is given to me is Dying Festivals of India. How does it matter when a festival or an occasion declines or loses its importance in our neighborhood? Not many people are bothered. Not everyone is concerned that an occasion of a get-together, an occasion of a celebration, a feeling of joy is no more with them. But an aware society, an awakened citizen is certainly concerned that what we are losing over the years. My friends, I do not have a ready-made PowerPoint presentations for all of you, but it is a point that we would all discuss together and probably highlight why, how, and which all festivals in our surroundings lose their originality, lose their popularity and importance. To start to initiate a discussion over this, we are first of all, we are expected to understand why a festival, why a fair is being organized in a society, in a village, or in a community. All said and done, a festival is an occasion where villagers come together to share joy, to think, to to come together and forget the kind of differences amongst them. So a festival is an occasion where everyone feels to be same, a perfect social harmony is in place. A festival is also an occasion when we understand that life and lifespan is a moment to celebrate. Every occasion in life is an occasion for celebration. Students of tourism and students of social science should understand that a Hindu way of life understands different what we call as sanskaras. So right from birth to up to the death. So the 16 sanskaras are occasions to celebrate. So whether it was a birth of a child or whether it was attaining a certain age of maturity, whether it is a marriage, whether the birth of a child in a family, whether it is starting of education, or even whether it is the death of a family member, Indian society considers every such occasions as a moment for celebration. My friends from South would support me. An occasion of a death is also a moment for celebration, and people from other regions get surprised when they see a dead body is surrounded by people, and there is a dance, there is a song, music, which continues alongside this death ceremony. People get surprised. But the fact of life is, this is also a moment of life. This is also an occasion of life where you need to celebrate. A soul had come to the society, played his part, and is at departure. So this is also an occasion for celebration. In our society, we do also have festivals that connect to agriculture, to harvest. When our farmers finish sowing the seeds or bowing the saplings, and when they are done with the cultivation, first phase of the cultivation, that is also a moment for celebration because they expect something good to come in near future. A harvest would come. And ultimately, when there is harvest, there is a joy in the minds, in the families of these farmers. So we also have some festivals that which are connected to agriculture and farming. As part of culture and religion, we also have so many festivals which is celebrated as part of the religion or culture. Here I would say all the religious festivals also have some social and cultural connections. Why, let us say, why a particular festival such as Diwali is celebrated on a certain day in a year? Why Holi is celebrated on a certain month during a year? Why Velankani festival is celebrated on a particular day? So they are all scheduled and they all have what is called as social and geographical regions behind it. Apart from agriculture, religious and human life stages, we also have different other type of festivals which we know as a type of secular festival, where Independence Day or some national festivals are being organized. We also have functions or festivals that connect to some promotional events. We understand Khajuraho Dance Festival, Konark Dance Festival, Puri Beach Festival. They are promoted by governments, by planners for a specific purpose in their mind to be achieved. If you connect all these festivals and you try finding out the reason behind such celebrations, you would agree that festivals bring joy and happiness in the minds of fellow participants. When you have a villager taking part in a festival, there is a tendency of forgetting self. And when, my friend, when you forget yourself, that is the best moment that brings you happiness. So probably a deep philosophy behind all happiness is forgetting self. You have a different other way of life that also needs a celebration. And when we try going inside of how we lose the originality of such festivals, we would agree that there is a change of lifestyle over the years. For globalization, for modernization, we have a change of work culture. When earlier, during probably our childhood, our parents or grandparents, they were all restricted to a village where they were living in. Slowly, with the opportunities coming outside the village periphery, people started going to cities and towns. So the life of a village shifted and got changed to what is called as a modern and urban way of lifestyle. So what was original and integral part of a village life got changed. And the core reason, the main reason behind this could be that the change of lifestyle brought changes in the way of living and brought changes in the festivals that people would organize as part of their living in a particular surrounding. Change of occupation. As we just mentioned, when people were dependent on the agriculture, festivals which were linked to agriculture were celebrated. But when agriculture was no more a part of the occupation, agriculture was no more part of the time spent by fellow villagers, celebrations, festivals connected to agriculture lost its importance. Then we would have what is called as a loss of culture. Loss of, when your economic pursuit changes or shifts to something else, you experience what is called as a loss of culture. Though a loss of culture is a very vast term to be, to be discussed under the ambit of festivals, but a direct meaning, direct effect of loss of culture is felt, is seen by decline of, or probably a complete abrupt stop of celebration of certain kind of festivals. Then we have a loss of heritage. What happens, friends, when people with a thorough knowledge of a festival are no more there, in our society? The traditions, in fact, in villages and families, were shifting from generation to generation by sheer spread of word. Grandparents would impart such words and such traditions to their children. The children would further forward and transfer this to their children, and the tradition would continue. Now, when you do not have a good and aware or informed grandparents living with you, there is a loss of link. And when there is a loss of link, there is a loss of tradition. We would come back to how these festivals witnessed loss of traditions little later. But conceptually speaking, when you have family being separated and family being living in nuclear status, the link between the earlier existing practices and the practices of today was missing, was gap, there was a gap. So when such things continue for a prolonged period of time, you have some festivals, you have some knowledge that go missing from the system. Monotonous way of life. All of you friends who are connected with academics or who are in the pursuit of research would agree that the kind of diversity that we had during our childhood, or probably people living in villages, kind of diversity, kind of different aspects or activities of involvement is certainly changed, and life has become a sort of rigid and monotonous in an urban way of lifestyle or an urban way of living. All of us are focused on one profession, on one occupation, on one task. Many of us are good at one particular thing. Some may be good at singing, some are good at farming, some are good at research, some are good at lectures, some are good at photography, some are good at different things. But a person of a jack of all trades is somehow probably missing in our system. Why? It is because, give me a moment.
Photographs भेज रहे हैं आपको 2 मिनट में.
Okay, sorry for the interruption. So, because there is a change of family structure, because there is a missing link between different families living in a community or a village, we have a loss of a bond between them. When the bond is not strong, the manpower required to celebrate a festival together has gone missing. So this loosening kinship, loss of bond, also give rise to some festivals declining its originality in our society. What happens, friends, when we have these losses happening? As I started my lecture with this note, that if there is a loss of one particular festival, if there is a loss of one particular tradition or a ritual, it may not affect the society economically, but it affects in the long run, because people lose their originality. When there is a loss of originality, there is a change of the thinking pattern. And such monotonous way of thinking could probably lead to a lesser emotional intelligence or lesser, other aspects of human life. Overall, there is a cultural drift in case we see and come across of such festivals being not celebrated in our society or in our surroundings. So let us, friends, go to few examples how they have declined over the years and how they have lost their originality. Since I belong to the state of Odisha, I'm aware and I am experienced of seeing the changes that has happened over the years to many such festivals. The first one probably that comes to my mind is what is known as Rajasangranthi. This is a festival that is celebrated at the beginning of rainy season, in the mid of rainy season, when farmers are done with their cultivation, the paddy is in the full swing, fully grown, and farmers are free from their agricultural activities. It is a festival that is celebrated in this part of the country, which celebrates probably the motherhood of the nature. Villagers would gather at a common ground, and there would be some, some games, some activities, some fun activities between the, people, participants of same age, and they would celebrate this with much fanfare. It is also an occasion that people would worship the young girl child of the family and the cattle for having supported them in the agriculture. So this festival over the years has absolutely lost its importance. There is no gathering happening during such occasions, and people would, see only in the TVs and media houses of certain Raja songs, and see, experience, or probably are just informed about what this used to be. The folk songs, the kind of gatherings, the kind of delicacies and dishes local local villagers would prepare, they have lost almost all of their originality. So this is about Rajasangranthi. In the same way, we can discuss about the Dola Purnima, which is otherwise known as the Holi, the festival of colors. The original celebration of Holi was linked to the family gods when they would come out in a procession on the beautifully decorated palanquins, and all such deities from every family and mutts would gather at a common ground in the locality. There would be a what we call as melana, what we call as gathering of gathering of such deities of different houses and mutts. These festivals, these gatherings were open to all, and every community, every family in the village were given some sort of responsibility. Some were responsible for carrying the palanquins, some were responsible for cooking, some were responsible for arranging this prasadams, some were arranging for, some were given the task of carrying the umbrella of the deities. Tasks were equally distributed, and every participant or every provider in this festival had equal importance. It is a celebration of thinking, of observing that deities have come out in public. So this is about Dola, and we have many festivals of
Sir is having some signal problems, so may request all the participants to wait for a few moments. Ladies and gentlemen, sir is having some signal problems, so we have to wait for a few moments. And meanwhile, may I request all the participants to kindly drop your question. If you have any query of some questions, please drop it in the chat box so that we may discuss after the presentation.
So is it okay?
Yes, it's totally fine. It's perfectly fine. You are audible, sir.
Thank you. So we were discussing, friends, about the Dolo Yatra and then subsequently the Gadaba. So this is a festival, friends, which is celebrated in the tribal region of Odisha and Jharkhand, which speaks of which the main purpose of this festival is to make your forefathers happy who were otherwise not peaceful. So tribals would sacrifice buffaloes and to their forefathers and pray for their blessings. Pray that these souls be happy and pray for their blessings for their children. So what happened with this festival is, over the years, because there was probably a change of lifestyle and there is a loss of culture over the years, people have almost all forgotten the essence of the festival and the way how it was being celebrated. So whether it is a Rajasangranthi, Dolapa and Gadaba, it is a reflection that there is a loss of tradition over the years. Let us go to have some examples from other states. One such festival that all of us who know is the Garba. Originally from the state of Gujarat, Garba is a festival that is celebrated during the times of Dasera, where the young girls of families, they would come out, and during their fast, they dance. They dance as a devotion to the Mother Durga. So they would clap with their hands by singing some devotional songs, and they would assemble at a common place, either close to a temple or in a common place in a village. So such celebration was not only restricted to the state of Gujarat, but spread to almost every part of North India and became quite famous. What happens to this festival over the years now is Garba is now shifted or is changed to what is known as your Dandiya, the dance with sticks. Garba translated into Dandiya. And further, there is what we call as a commodification of this festival, and we can only see Garba being celebrated in hotels, resorts, or in clubs. Garba is no more a village festival. It is a festival just celebrated in a community of elites, in clubs or in some community centers. During the fast, the kind of celebration that Garba had was giving probably a benefit of devotion, passing of time through songs, meeting of people, and then dedicating yourself to the goddess whom you revere so much in your life. This healthy practice of dance, fasting, dedication, devotion is now translated into just a commercial event or commercial occasion where participants pay a participation fee to enter to a club and make an occasion for enjoyment through these things. And every entry fee would be charged for every participant. And there is a sure loss of tradition that everyone experiences in such celebrations. There is another festival, friends, that is celebrated amongst the hills of Madhya Pradesh, and it is called as Bhagoria, Bhagoriya. Bhagoria is a festival that has similar nature of celebration in other parts of the tribal belt. In Assam, probably it is called as Bhogali Bihu. And in other tribal belt, this is celebrated in some different names, where every year there would be a gathering where young unmarried individuals would meet, and there would be an exchange of promise, and individuals would select their partners in such gatherings, and then they would enter to the marriages. What a beautiful tradition of selecting your company, selecting your partner of life in an occasion of celebration. So Bhagoria, to run away as part of an accepted tradition in a festival of this kind was uniqueness of this tribal life, where the community was giving the freedom to individuals to make their choices of life partner. But slowly, because probably there is a there is a overshadow of a strong culture over the tribal culture, the essence of the festival got lost. How it happens is, wherever a festival of this kind is being celebrated now, there are a lot of intrusions. The intruders from outside the society come and start mingling with the participants, and there is a lot of vandalism, for which community is worried about the protection of the tribal culture, protection of the tribal girls, protection of the entire tribal population. So for which almost in most of the places, these festivals have been discontinued. There is another festival that is at the verge of extinction, that we see where we have in Madhya Pradesh, it is called as Pratikalpa Sanja Sanstha I mean, this is an NGO, Sanja. So Sanja is a festival or is an occasion where the girls would decorate their houses, the walls of their houses with beautiful paintings. Same was the practice in almost all part of the country. In the state of Odisha, it is during this Kartik month, the Hindu calendar Kartika Masam, where the bride of the woman member of the family and the girls especially, they would decorate their houses with beautiful sanjas. So it is in Madhya Pradesh, it is during the Dasera time, and in some other parts of the country it is at different other times, but mostly this would continue for a prolonged period of a month or so. So this festival of Sanja is no more in practice, or the Jhoti of Odisha is. Why it happens and what got changed is probably the lifestyle for sure, but then subsequently it is the lack of link between the earlier generation to the present. As a person of tourism or social science, we are concerned about the loss of traditions, because for tourism this is certainly a product, a resources that is marketed and for which tourists are interested to visit a place. And for the villagers, it is an occasion to celebrate, or it is an occasion of joy and happiness. Now it becomes important, friends, to understand how to revive it. What are the ways of revival of such festivals? But before that, I would be happy if some of you at least would share your experiences of a festival losing its originality at your locality or at your region. So some narratives from some participants. Anyone amongst participants would narrate a case where there is a loss of originality or declining of importance of a festival. Please share your experience.
Dear participant, please unmute yourself and please try to answer what sir is asking.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, good afternoon.
So it was not a festival, but we have Delhi Haat in Delhi. So I visited that place. There are two in Delhi. So I visited both of them, and the articles which are there, it is supposed to be a very cultural place which should have original art and craft from different states. But what I saw there, it was everything that was available there is available in local markets everywhere. So I could not find a difference between getting into Delhi Haat and getting into any other market in Delhi, that be it Janpath, Sarojini Nagar, any local market. So I could not feel the true essence of India by visiting Delhi Haat.
That's beautiful. So Delhi Haat was originally known to be a craft, craft market, where you would have participants, or you would have original producers, craftsmen selling their crafts here. But since over the time there was no proper patronage of such sellers, so you cannot find any difference between Delhi Hat and probably Sarojini Market or any other marketplace in Delhi. Yes. Anyone else? Rajesh, can you please narrate an experience where a temple festival in Pondicherry or Tamil Nadu has lost its importance? I do not remember their names, but I am certainly aware about it.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity. So actually now due to commercialization or customization, too much customization of festivals, so now the length of festivals also come down. Previously it was celebrated like 10 days, 15 days. So now it came down to like 3 days, 4 days. So these things I used to observe, sir. When I was in school days, no, sir, I think this temple festival celebrated more than 15 days, 10 days. But now it came down to a week or less than that.
Yes, very good. Observation. I can also tell here that temple festivals in Tamil Nadu and Pondicherry used to be a big extravaganza earlier for all villagers in that surrounding. That is also why there is a loss of tradition, or there is a loss of that valor of these festivals, is also a geographic reason. Every temple used to have a pond in its periphery. Now, Rajesh, every pond in such temples are dried off. So when there is no water, it cannot be called actually as a temple pond. And when there is no pond, you do not have an activity happening on the temple pond as part of the celebration. So there is also a change of climate which gets resulted into the declining originality of festivals, declining popularity of festivals. Yes, thank you, Rajesh. Any other experiences here?
Sir, one more thing, sir.
Yes.
Once in 12 years, this Kumbh Mela is happening every temple, no, sir. So now after 12 years also people are not giving importance to that. Now people are forgetting that. So in Tamil Nadu and even in Pondicherry, no, after 12 years, they are not conducting that continuously.
Yes. Kumbh Mela nationally is a lot of, is so much politicized. Actually, every Mahakumbh happens after 12 years, and Kumbh happens after every 4 years. There is a way how every Kumbh or Mahakumbh is to be celebrated, but because there is a commercialization of it, because there is a politics to be played over such functions, such festivals, they have lost its importance. Yes, I agree to it. Good. Any other thing, Rajesh, you want to say?
Now people also hesitating to visit these festivals, no, sir. So if you take during this Pongal holidays in Tamil Nadu, each day there is a festival. So people used to come from different part of the country and they used to celebrate. But nowadays the number also come down. People, those who are participating in that festival, the number also come down. And as I mentioned earlier, the programs, indigenous programs which were offered in but maybe 10 years back, we were not able to see same thing now.
Correct. Yes. Over the years, the kind of activities, the kind of rituals being performed, or the very essence of such festivals have got changed. Whether good or bad is another way of debate, but certainly there is a change in the character of the festivals that we have been celebrating now. That's great. So, Dr. Devasis, I appeal to you if you can share something about festivals being organized in Himachal and how have they retained or they have lost their originality over the years? Okay, so anyone else who want to share your experience of how festivals have declined and changed their character over the years?
Sir, I have a concern, sir, here regarding tourism products. When we are converting this heritage or festivals into tourism product, so what our market people or travel agencies doing that they are customizing and then they're commodifying. So, for example, if you take any festival, it may go for 3 days, 4 days, but tourists may not interested to see the entire program. What they do, they as per the requirement of tourists, they are changing that. So whether it is going to affect the heritage of that particular place, sir, because in long run that people also they think that this is the original one. So how we can change it, sir, these things?
Well, if for the sake of tourists, the character of festival is changing, there's a responsibility lies on the organizers who are the decision makers. Tourists are only participants. Tourists are only viewers. Tourists are only spectators. So it is for the organizers to ensure the originality of the festival. We cannot simply blame tourists for the change that is happening. So that is another way how to revive these festivals, which is my next part of discussion. We have some chat box by Dr. Sushant Ranjan here. Nagal Chaturthi. Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Sushant. You rightly mentioned. In fact, we have numerous festivals being organized in every part of the country, and Naga Chaturthi is certainly one amongst them. What a beautiful festival it is, celebrate or worshipping the Naga Devata, the snake god, in the families. So when you have, I vaguely remember that it is being celebrated during some summers, scorching heat, and in the family we would be sent to bring what is that called as the shelter of termites. It is called probably as termite. In Odia, of course, it is hunka, but termite nest, and that would be brought to the family, and outside near to the tulsi, this would be decorated with flower, other way of doing it, colorful rangolis, and the essence of this festival was to remember snake and the importance of snake in the lives of people. So we need to be either scared of the animal by worshipping it so that it doesn't harm us, or probably an environmental aspect of it, considering the importance of snake in the overall ecosystem. So the respect, the worship for a snake in the family was also established. So, probably such family functions, family festivals is no more in practice, and our younger generation probably would not be able to tell why these festivals celebrated for, and what is the reason behind it, or how it is celebrated. That is most important for tourism professionals, how it is celebrated. So that part is probably missing. As planners, as thinkers, we are also concerned to how to revive such functions, such festivals for the same objective, that it gives us joy, it gives us happiness, it brings a social harmony, it brings a sort of comradeship amongst families, family members, and everyone who's concerned about it, who's part of it. It gives an occasion for us to think beyond our family, beyond the villagers, beyond the ecosystem we are living in, beyond probably the world and terrestrial creatures that we are part of. So for all such purposes, we are also bothered, we are also concerned how to revive these festivals. I have highlighted and outlined a few things. The most and foremost reason why these festivals lose their originality is certainly the loss of tradition. And that is something that is a result of the change of work culture, change of profession, change of society, lifestyle, and we do not have much control over it. And since as informed member of the society, we are concerned and we understand that we do not have much control. We can develop certain other ways to patronize such functions. One function that probably has retained its fame and name in the state of Odisha is Bali Yatra. This Bali Yatra is, Bali, all of us are aware, all of us are, all of us know that Bali is a island part of the country of Indonesia. Bali Yatra in Odisha is celebrated to commemorate the history that Odia navigators, Odia traders used to navigate to Bali for trade and business. To remember such golden history, this day is celebrated. Now, as such, it has lost its originality over the years because there is no much navigation or there is no much maritime trade happening between this state with Indonesia, Malaysia, or any other Far East nations. But to remember this, some prominent places have been earmarked by the state government, and this is celebrated with much valor and with much fanfare. When there is a patronage of the government, there is also patronage of businessmen or sellers gathering at one place, and this gathering results into many fun activities being organized for people of different age groups. And the main activity of ferrying a ship or ferrying a boat or ferrying a paper-made boat on the river, on the water, and chanting the same lines that our forefathers used to sing for us, giving giving a adieu to saying goodbye to these paper-made boats with a promise to see them back was the main activity of this festival. And since this is celebrated at different places with patronage of the government, with patronage of different other stakeholders, this is in place. Kerala is a successful state, friends, in preserving its festivals and culture, whether it is snake boat race, whether it is the celebration of the New Year, Kerala New Year, or any other function. This return of Mahabali, Onam festival. So they are successful in doing so because there is also a government patronage, there is also a commercial or a monetary return linked to it. So there is a sponsorship happening for such events. So when you have a monetary support, how does monetary support happens? You may ask me. There is an involvement of traders and businessmen. There is an involvement of government. There is an involvement of media. And there is an involvement of viewership. And when there is a viewership, it can happily be exploited in terms of money. And there is a monetary support for organizing, for preserving such festivals. That is one way of doing it. There is another, school of thought that you have certain NGOs to be given responsibility of reviving certain dying festivals. Some NGOs have voluntarily taken up the responsibility. As I just mentioned, in the state of Madhya Pradesh, the Sanja Pratikalpa Sanstha that works to revive this, Sanja festival, which happens during this Dasera in Madhya Pradesh. You have, many state governments patronizing the local artisans and villagers to showcase their paintings and talents on the walls of capitals and cities, which is a work of a culture department of culture to ensure this. Overall, there has to be an awareness, there has to be a spirit of going back to the roots. So with this hashtag tagline, going back to the roots should spread across. All of us are convinced about the importance of these festivals in our life. So going back to the roots is going back to, celebration of these festivals in its originality. Some other way of promoting and reviving these festivals is use of media. There are a lot of government schemes that helps local villagers to promote certain festivals and to document it, so that there can be an archive, there can be an online library being created about festivals of India. Media also includes social media. We are very, young enthusiasts who work on video recording of these festivals and uploading into social media such as YouTube, Facebook, and so on. So that is also, a best way to preserve this, festivals in its originality. Because when there is an archive, when there is a, record of events happening in its order, it would give as a reference to our, future generation to pursue it in that, original way. Tourism certainly brings financial support to, such events. When tourists visit festivals, they do contribute in terms of purchases, in terms of entry, in terms of participation to these events. So through their spending, through their sponsorships and fundings, festivals can be revived. But as rightly questioned by Dr. Rajesh, that there has to be proper checks and balances when we encourage tourist participation in the festivals. Tourists are mere viewers and participants, but tourists are not the planners, the organizers. So if the festival is organized for the tourist, it would certainly lose its originality, which we in terms of sociology, which we call as cultural drift. There is a degradation of culture, there is an acculturation happening. So when there is a degraded culture, there is a loss of originality. When there is a loss of originality, it would no more serve the purpose of probably giving the joy to the villagers who are original partners, who are original participants of these festivals. So checks and balances must be ensured. There are some forums of residents, local resident forums, which need to be planned, which need to be supported by local government agencies, because that helps in proper organization and execution of the events. We can very high, we can cite this Dola Yatra as one of the example. Local administration have created different forums, and everywhere it happens. In fact, where there is a gathering of villagers, the administration looks to it that there is a forum, there is a committee that ensures smooth functioning of these festivals. So these local forums would be given responsibility of having the festival in a proper way, having the festival, celebrating the festival without much law and order issue, and keeping the originality of the festival by ensuring participation of all desired stakeholders. So these local resident forums also help. Other way, and most important probably, when there is a loss of tradition, there is a loss of culture, as academicians, we also have a role to play. When we do not have a proper, system, proper culture being followed, it is the responsibility of academicians to bring this as part of curriculum. The new education policy also mandates every institution to ensure that local lifestyle, local culture, local fairs and festivals are part of local language, traditions, are part of the syllabi. Some may argue that what merit this festivals, keeping festivals being in curriculum would help, or what is the merit of such festivals to be part of the curriculum. There are some subjects which certainly demands inclusion of these festivals, including tourism, sociology, anthropology, and so on. But even though it is not a strong part of any discipline, having a extra soft core course in addition to the hardcore subject of your own discipline would give you a would probably contribute to happiness and accomplishment of a student. So someone who's interested in fairs and festivals would get to know about it. So keeping this as part of the syllabus also would help and would give directions to future generations to understand such local festivals and the essence behind it. Right, so I discussed with all of you the reason behind fairs and festivals, what kind of loss that as a society we experience when we have a loss of a festival or loss of a tradition. What are the possible reasons behind such decline? I discussed with you, and you also corroborated with some examples and cases. And then at the end, we summarized the discussions to how to revive such festivals in our society. So I give a full stop to my lecture now. If you have any questions or if you have any additions to make, you can unmute yourself and speak.
Thank you, sir, for addressing a very interesting topic. So with that, as said that, we will go ahead and take some time for a question from the participant.
Now, for the knowledge of our eminent resource person, I may tell most of the participants are from different tourism and hospitality management colleges and universities, and most of them are the faculty members. So I will request, there are so many doctors are here, Dr. G. Surendra, Dr. Ranjit Kishore, Dr. Deepak, Dr. Dipanshu, Dr. Moyur Rao, Dr. Pankaj Tagi. So, and I know personally, Madam Mousumi is also there from NSHM Durgapur, Dr. Ravis Matthew. So, almost all academicians are here. So, this is an opportunity to discuss this matter here. So, I will request your active participation will delight this program. Please come forward. So anyone want to share views regarding this topic?
Milo, you would share your experience. Milo Yaja.
Yes, good afternoon, sir. So in my experience, as some of the speakers also have mentioned before, just to showcase few of the cultural events to our tourists, sometimes we do alter some changes for the convenience of our tourists. So in my opinion, this should be not only for the tourists, we also have to see the authenticity, the real authenticity, the origin, and keeping the same authenticity, we also have to present that, and we should not dilute so much in presentation or in giving value to it. So that thing we should keep in mind, like while showcasing our cultural event or maybe some rituals. So we should not be modified it so much only for the sake of tourism or sake for the customer. So also have to understand our integrity, the real integrity and the real value of that. So only this thing I would like to say from my side, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Sir,
Anyone else? Yes.
So I would like to ask one quick question. Like, there is no doubt the festivals are meant for celebrations, but our celebrations should not affect other people around us, right? So in your opinion, should there be limitations on the way of celebrating a festival? And how can we make such celebration eco-friendly?
Okay. Oh, that's a beautiful aspect, beautiful question. I mean, that was not part of my discussions because we were discussing about dying festivals. So our prime focus was to note such festivals and find ways how to revive it. But yes, there are also some festivals during which people go unruly, and they go to certain some extent where they disturb the peace of others. To answer this question, it is not the festival per se which is responsible, or not the tradition, but it is the people who celebrate this. It is the people who do not have respect for others who do not take part in this festival. So when you have concern, when you have respect for a non-believer, you would understand the way how you need to celebrate this. There is another way of thinking this is festivals when were celebrated in their originality was not intended to disturb others, was peaceful. When festivals lost their originality, festivals became commercialized, and commercialization was more important than the actual culture. Then all these nuisances started coming. Nowhere in Vinayak Chaturthi or Dasera, Durga Puja, it was expected to have a big volume loudspeakers played and to the late in the night and disturb the sleep of fellow residents. Loudspeaker and a DJ was never part of the culture. In fact, loudspeakers and DJs were never part of the culture, and most of our festivals were in a low-scale affair. They were low-scale affair. Wherever you find a large-scale celebration of it, there is a commercialization of that festival. So planners, local authorities need to ensure where commercialization is more. So you need to have a sort of demarketing for such festivals. Demarketing, all of us understand, to control such activities and to control the spread of the festival, and to bring commercialization to such festivals who are declining, who need financial support, who are at the verge of extinction. So we need to have a thorough control of something going beyond our control and something which needs support. So we have to have check and balances there as well. But thank you for adding this part to our discussion here.
Thank you very much, sir.
Sir, I have one more question, sir.
Yes.
In Tamil Nadu, if you take note, a few temples are taken over by government. And then if you want to conduct festival, local people, they have to get permission from the government. It is not permitted to them without taking permission. They are not permitted to conduct the festival. Even if you approach them, no, sir. So these people are not getting proper response. So how to manage this issue, sir?
Well, the need for permission from local authorities is a mandated thing, because you have a law and order involved in such celebrations. So that is a must. But why and how the local authority would give the permission needs to be properly, minuted, needs to be properly, needs to be standardized. In many cases, here also the politics play a role. Some temples who are powerful, they obtain permissions and go on for the celebration festivals, even during COVID pandemic. And some temples who are not rich, who are not powerful, their celebration is restricted. Well, you have to bring this, bring this demand to the right forum where from where you can obtain permissions and you can find your grievances being made. So, but it has to be through a government mechanism. There is no other way of doing it, because you need to have government control over this law and order situations.
Sometimes they used to go to court and then get permission.
Yes. Yeah, the court is of course an ultimate. When you are not satisfied, happy with the government, you would certainly knock the doors of the court for your grievances.
Okay.
So, anything else? Okay, so yes, please go on, sir.
I hope all the participants have gained a lot of information from our expert. Thank you very much. And I think if there is no questions, we shall end our technical sessions. Before we end our sessions, I would like to extend my gratitude to our resource person, Professor Jitendra Mohan Mishra, for taking time out of his busy schedule to be the speaker at our session. Sir, we're really thankful to you for your insightful and informative address. Your presence and wise word help magnify our cause in the best possible way. Sir, we are charmed by your sharp fluency. And also, I am thankful to all the participants for your active participation. It is our prayer that you have gained useful knowledge and new innovative ideas. Thank you very much, everyone.